So Eboni K. Williams has everyone pretty upset a little bit, especially a lot of the men. But before I get into the video why people kind of got upset, I want to give you just a little information, backstory about Eboni K. Williams. Now, Eboni is 39 years old. I want to repeat that again, fellas. She's 39 years old. Keep that in your mind before you hear this video. Eboni is a lawyer. Eboni has worked in the media as well. She worked on Fox News back in 2017, kind of right after Bill O'Reilly was, terminated from Fox News. Eboni has, been hooked up with Zaddy, okay, many times. Eboni, she dealt with some brothers too, but at the end of the day, even though she had Zaddy, most of the women, they have Zaddy. They can't really get Zaddy to marry them too often. Notice that? But Iyanla, and shout out to her, had a conversation with Eboni. Eboni has no children. I'll make sure I say that too. And she had a conversation with her about men. And I want you to hear, and I want you to pay attention to this woman's body language, her facial expressions, while Iyanla is talking to her. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because
look her face. Y'all, look her face. Fellas, really stare close at her face. Now, there are men over the years that have felt this woman, they felt her being attractive. Fellas, when you hear something like that, it don't matter if you view her as attractive. At that moment right there, she became ugly. Not only did she become ugly, as we used to say back in the day, she became oogly. Now, oogly was the next step to ugly. You weren't ugly, you was oogly. She became oogly at that moment, okay? Even if a man, this is what men hear, Eboni. When a man hear you say, I'm not going to date the guy that drives the bus, but I'll date the guy that owns the company. Every man hears gold digger. Even the men that you want, they hear that from you, and you disqualified yourself by your mouth. There are so many women that disqualify themselves by their mouth. But it gets even better. Let's continue.
The standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society.
Yes, Iyanla. Yes. See, the deal is these women need to listen to sisters like this. Understand? This is a learned sister. She knows what she's talking about. And I support what she's saying. Let's continue.
I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver.
You heard what she said? Those 4 things she talked about. If he loved his job. If the man loves his job, he gonna be gainfully employed. Being gainfully employed, always having a check coming in is a good thing. If he treated her right. It's more to a man about than how much money he making. 'Cause let's call it what it is. Men who make money got options. They don't have to put up with Eboni's attitude. Matter of fact, Eboni don't even qualify for those men. Except that's it. She don't even qualify. Because men that own the bus company not trying to go get 39-year-old Eboni. What if he want a family? What kid is she gonna have? Maybe he can get one out of her. But what he gonna really get out of Eboni? When he can go get a 29-year-old or a 25-year-old? What is he gonna get from Eboni at 39 years old? So she don't even qualify for what she's talking about. And the reason why what she said was so offensive to a lot of men is because the majority of men are blue collar workers. They're not white collar workers. I came up in blue collar work myself. I worked with my hands, my feet, my brain for 22 years in the petrochemical industry. The men that's working in that field right now, if the men that's working in that field stop loading rail cars, stop loading tanker trucks, stop loading barges and ships, stop gauging tanks, stop sampling your gas tanks, right? If they just go on strike all over America, Ebony, you wouldn't have a drop of gas to put in your vehicle. The men that's driving the trucks to the local gasoline station, you wouldn't have any of that. White collar workers don't make the world run. It is the blue collar worker. The only reason you can sit in a job right now at the grill is because a man by the name of Byron Allen built it. You didn't build anything on your own. You built nothing. You're always looking for a job instead of being a builder. Men build. People like you to look for a job and a come up. But let's continue.
But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. So I think
Now, she said that about a prenup because she has money. You know what I'm saying? So when you have certain amounts of money and you know divorce law, because listen, if let's say a woman got money, get with a dude that's broke, she don't have a prenup, he divorced her, he can get half. That has happened. So that's why she's discussing that.
some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's...
And she's 100% right. It's not working. It's not. All this, we're going to level up. Do you know leveling up for them is consistent of getting your money, men? Do you know that? He got to have 6 figures. So that's a come up for you getting with a man with money? Make that make sense. That's leveling up for you? You know, you're just a gold digger. And you don't deserve a man with money at all. And the men that have money, they're going to read through you in 2 seconds. A woman that will build with you is the type of woman that you get with. And you see, that's what a lot of women don't understand, especially women like Ebony here. But Ebony be the same one upset when the brother that is driving the bus one day wanted to be with her and she dismissed him. Then this brother go overseas and he get a wife overseas. Or if he get a wife here in America but is not in the black community, and now he's owning a bus company. See, 5 years ago, he was driving a bus. Now he owns a company. He got people driving for him. And you mad and say, every time they get up, they gonna get them a woman of a different community. But tell that story when you was rejecting that black man when he was driving the bus. When you had your face turning ugly, looking at him up and down. See, y'all don't tell that part of the story. You always want to talk about, oh, look, when he get it, and they get famous, they get this, they go get him a woman of a different. No. They wanted you. They wanted you. And you rejected him. And what happened? While he was driving that bus, that woman of a different community got with him and stayed with him and encouraged him, maybe helped him along the way. So now he's the owner. You don't know what happened from the time he was driving in there. You don't know what that woman helped him do. That's the part of the story you need to start telling. But see, the thing is, you want him when he got the bus, but you don't want to build with nobody. That's your problem.
Bad or wrong, it's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself.
1,000+ comments.
Okay, now this is her right here I want you to hear her response, because everybody went in on her behind. And I want y'all to notice, fellas. I want y'all to notice the hair. You know what? I will say this much. And I've heard men say this, and I'm going to say it. Brothers, if you see hair like that, don't trust that woman, because she don't like herself. She don't like herself at all. Now, she's supposed to be on a so-called black network, but she can't wear her natural hair? Okay.
So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position, and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said.
You're lying. You're lying. No, you're not. She asked you a simple question. Would you date a bus driver? You said, unless he owns the company. That has nothing to do with the ascension of black men. That has something to do with you, ma'am. You didn't mention nothing about, I get with him, but I try to help him get to the point that maybe he could own a company because I got certain skills as an attorney. I know this and that and the third. You didn't say any of that. So no, stop lying, ma'am.
But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as...
No. Well, yeah, some people talk about black women in general because some of them think like you, Ebony. And remember, fellas, she's 39 with no kids. And she's this sassy when she should be a little bit more humble. She should be just a little bit more. She should be more friendly at her age. She should be more easy to get along with at her age. But yet she's got an attitude. Okay.
Undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse.
Yeah, because a gold digger is undesirable, Ebony. No man wants that. No man wants to be used for his resources. Men are human beings too. Just like women don't want to be used for anything. Women don't like it when a man get with them, sleep with them, and then don't call them again. They feel bad when that happens to them. Well, it's the same thing with men. We don't want you to get with us, take our money, and then don't talk to us no more. Or just with us to take our money, then something happens to us. Maybe we get sick or whatever the case may be. We human beings, that happens, right? And you gone because you was only there for our money. So yes, Ebony, don't get upset. That was a gold digger response that you gave.
Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best.
So now she insults people who made C's and D's. And insulting their parents is saying, hey, as long as you're doing your best. What is wrong with that? Some people are not built for the American school system. The American school system is horrible. There are people in our community that didn't even go past the 4th grade and became millionaires. There are people that didn't have a lot of formal education and done very well for themselves in our own communities. There are people that didn't know how to read. Some people didn't know how to write. But yet they understood I need to do what's right for my family and was a good man up until the time they passed away. But women like Ebony thinking America's education system is a validation when it ain't crap. Because it don't teach you anything. You learn more on the internet than you ever learned in a school. Now tell me I'm lying about that.
Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you.
What?
No, you don't. No, you do not. That is a lie.
So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother, Gloria, drove.
Oh, no, Ebony. You're not going to do that. Because when y'all say that you date a bus driver, you said If he owns the bus driving company, paraphrasing. Now all of a sudden there's nothing wrong with driving the bus? Okay.
Of one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy.
Oh, God. Really? Jesus. Look, I talk about racism and white supremacy on my other platforms. This conversation had nothing to do with racism and white supremacy. This was a Black community issue that we have. And let's call it what it is. The majority of the world is average. The majority. You wouldn't have high earning people if everybody earns 6 figures, then that would become the norm, right? Then if everybody earns 6 figures, then you have to earn 7 to become exceptional. Understand what I'm saying? So you do have norms. And there's nothing wrong with being normal. There's nothing wrong with being average. I'd rather have someone who is normal and average around me than someone that's just all over the place. Because at least that normal and average person, they're consistent in what they do.
And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass.
What that got to do with what you said? How you go from gold digging statements to talking about white supremacy and no, ma'am, you're not going to do that. I just can't let you do that. You're wrong, Ebony. You're completely wrong. Just accept it. You had a gold digging statement, a stank attitude in the process, and you got called out. White folks had nothing to do with it.
But see, because I know the truth about Black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
Whatever, Ebony, whatever. Okay. See, men, and notice her attitude. She when she was called out, she didn't approach anything with humility. She didn't approach it feminine. Notice how she came out, nasty attitude and very masculine. You just seen that? She was acting like a man. And this is what men want to get away from, these manly females. So really, Ebony, in my opinion, she has greatly lowered her stock. Prior to this, men thought a little bit more higher of her than this. But now, since she done said this, do you really think she's going to get the guy that owns the company now? Other than a roll in the hay? He's not going to take her serious. And why should he? Because all she's going to do is take his money. But let me know what y'all think about Miss Eboni K. Williams here. I'm pretty sure a lot of you fellas that own companies would be lining up to date her and want to marry her and maybe possibly have one kid if you're lucky. But y'all let me know.